why is it that as we get older, it can get to a stage where you start to realise that everybody around you and all your mates that you grew up with no longer seem to show much interest in spending time with you? And why do we find things such as organising meetups with the boys so much harder? Not only this, bro, but maybe you don't get as much support from them. They might contact you less and less, and they might have different interests to you altogether nowadays. And actually, you might find that just being in their presence doesn't provide you with the same amount of thrill as it used to maybe just 1 or 2 years ago. Now obviously, this can feel quite demoralising, mate, and it can make you feel really lonely. But it doesn't mean that you should let this bring you down. In fact, I think this is supposed to happen, bro. It's all a part of the process. And actually, if you play your cards right, it's not just a sign of better things to come, but an entirely new and different opportunity. Now almost 2 years ago, I decided that I was going to stop drinking alcohol, and for someone like me who spent most of his late teens and early 20s partying and raving, this was always going to lead to such a difference in the lifestyle and people that I hung around with. And quite simply, that is exactly what happened, bro. Stopping drinking meant that I had found myself in a position where I had not only isolated myself from my friends, but pretty much 99% of the population. And at the time, I felt like, firstly, nobody seemed to sort of understand my reasonings, and secondly, like, I just couldn't relate to anybody. The people that I'd spent so much of my childhood growing up with weren't in my life as much anymore, and the regular sesh activities were no longer a part of my life either. And actually, I was finding that even new people I was connecting with were very different to me. So of course, you know, with all of this going on, I experienced a great deal of loneliness. And I'm not gonna lie, man, there were even times where I considered drinking again just so that I could reconnect with people on that level again. But I knew deep down that I mentally could not have gone back to it. Like, it just wasn't an option for me. That person didn't exist inside of me anymore. Now let me tell you how I benefited from this and exactly why this feeling of loneliness can actually be fantastic for you, bro. So essentially, I like to see this whole situation as though you've got to pick your poison. And this doesn't just have to be about alcohol, by the way. Your reasons for feeling lonely could be about something completely different. Maybe you have a hobby that nobody else around you has, or maybe you enjoy talking about things that nobody around you seems to give a shit about. But nevertheless, either you continue to fit in with the crowd and potentially experience less loneliness, but also deal with the fact that you're probably not being entirely true to yourself, or you choose what in my opinion is the best option, which is to be different than 99% of the people around you and experience some temporary loneliness. And temporary is the key part of that sentence, which I will elaborate on further in just a second. But in short, every single time I felt lonely, it has forced me to occupy myself with either something that I enjoy or something that's actually productive. And this has been very beneficial for me because what this does is it makes you truly understand you. And it makes you understand the things that you are passionate about, and you stop relying on other people for your happiness. And this is why being lonely as a young man can actually be a good thing. You are in a prime position to redevelop yourself for the rest of your manhood. This is a new opportunity, bro. You can decide exactly where you want to take your life from this point onwards. Are you going to continue being swayed by other people into doing things that aren't benefiting you just for the sake of feeling less alone? Or are you going to create your own path and create your own destiny and feel some temporary loneliness to then eventually rebuild your social connections and community of like-minded people? Well, I know exactly what choice I would rather make. So this is what you're going to do, son. Obviously, step one is to acknowledge that you feel lonely, and you might laugh when I say this, but be grateful that you feel this way. Be grateful because it means that you are not like all these other motherfuckers. You're different, and that is not a bad thing, especially if you use it to your advantage. Not only this, but you should also be grateful because it is life's way of allowing you to realize exactly what you want from life and not to be swayed or distracted by other people. Step two is to really just hone in on developing yourself and doing the things that you enjoy more often. Start working on yourself, alright? Learn about getting in shape, learn about dealing with anxiety and how you can control your mind. Learn about how to eat healthier, learn about how to start your own business, and learn how to communicate with people effectively. Trust me, man, there is a lot of shit that you could be focusing on before even thinking about feeling sorry for yourself for being alone. After doing this for what will be probably over a year, and you genuinely feel like, you've leveled up, that's when you should be focusing on step 3, which is to focus on rebuilding your social community. And this step is definitely important. It is a good thing, and it's important for a man to be alone for a temporary period, but it is not a healthy long-term option, and it is not sustainable. And in fact, it is your responsibility to find others and connect with other like-minded men. This is your life. Be active with it. Nobody is going to just magically appear in front of you. You have to do the work. And yes, even to find friends, there can be work involved. Use the resources online, use social media, literally search for people who have similar topic interests to you using hashtags, and then message these people, arrange a video call, and then learn from each other and actively develop relationships. I have literally made good friends from doing this. I'd also recommend that you read a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Don't really know how you pronounce that surname, but yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't actually read it myself, but it's literally next on my reading list. I've just heard so much about that book, and I'm just recommending it to you actually based on other people's recommendations to me. Obviously take that as you will. If you don't believe me, that's up to you, and I'm not gonna force you to read it, but yeah, the choice is yours. To upgrade your mindset even more, click on this video right here. Believe you can, and you are more than halfway there. Now off.